Hi, everybody. Welcome to Lurking for Legends, a live video cast where we talk to people from all walks of the publishing world. Filling in for Christy Stratos tonight is my co-host, science fiction author David M. Kelly. We encourage viewers to chime in with questions for our guests or comment on what you hear on the show. Tonight, we're excited to have with us mystery, supernatural, and thriller author Ann Charles. Welcome to the show, Ann.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're most welcome. We're happy to have you here. We were just discussing before we went on air that you were down in Arizona, which Dave and I are both from Canada, so a little bit warmer down where you are today.
Yes, definitely.
So before we get started, for those who may not know who you are, and I can't, if you're a best-selling author here, I'm sure that a lot of people do know who you are. But please tell us a little bit about yourself anyway.
Sure. I am a USA Today bestselling author of the Deadwood mystery series. I have actually 5 different ongoing series, and that just happens to be the most popular and the longest, with 12 books out so far. And like I said, it is ongoing, so more to come. And I've been writing, well, for a long, long time, since the 90s, but I published the first book of the Deadwood Mystery Series back in January 2011. So 10 years plus published now. And I have 30, I think I'm up to 32 books now available out there in audio, ebook, and print. So
Wow.
lots of stories, lots of, like I said, 5 different series that are ongoing. So that keeps me really busy. And other than that, I do one of the series I co-write with my husband, Sam Lucky, which makes for fun conversations that our kids eavesdrop, on, and then wonder who we're talking about. Um, Otherwise, I've I've been really fortunate to have a lot of wonderful awards come my way, and wonderful things happening in the publishing business, as well as meet some great fans and have a lot of fun every year at an annual fan party in Deadwood, South Dakota, where the books are set, several of them. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
I noticed that the covers on your books, they're very distinctive.
Oh,
And so I was just kind of like wondering, is there a story behind where you get them? Or...
sure. Yes, actually. So way back when I was first submitting the Deadwood mystery series, the first book, Nearly Departed in Deadwood, I was submitting it to several of the big publishers, still trying to go the regular non-indie route at that point. And rejection. I actually went all the way to the final acquisition meeting at one of the big houses, only to get rejected by marketing. And it was it was a tough time. And I had some of the publishers say, "Yeah, we like your writing, but we'd like you to write what we want you to." And I wasn't really keen to that. I can't even stay on my own outlines, on tracks. So anyway, I decided at that point to go create a small press at the time, and I had a partner. And if we were going that way, then we needed a cover artist. And my brother is an artist. He's been drawing since, he's 4.5 years younger than me. And I always remember him drawing. And he likes to draw monsters and all kinds of crazy fun stuff. So he said, if it's an option, I'd like to try my hand at being your cover artist. And I said, okay. And while you're at it, how about illustrations in, each of the books as well? And so he submitted for that first book, Nearly Departed, 3 different cover op, possible backgrounds for us. And we picked the one that we have for Nearly Departed, which is the legs with the haunted house kind of in the background. And ever since, he's does almost all the covers. There's a couple of a short series that's called the Deadwood Shorts. They're like side novellas from the main series. And for that, we use some stock photos or my photos. But otherwise, my brother does the cover art, my husband, and there's been a few before him, but they're the graphic artists that take the original art, which is usually sometimes, it's colored pencil, I think he always submits in, because he's kind of old school. And then we, make it digital, and my husband puts it all together, and up it goes. So um, it really has helped brand my books because, yeah, of course, having the same artist, there's going to be some similarities, but it also gives me so much freedom on, hey, this is what I'm thinking for the cover. And then I let him, hear a little bit about the story and my ideas. And then I say, what do you think? What would you put in this? And you come up with the positioning and all that. And he does. And so it's fun for both of us to kind of work together in that way.
And you don't have any problems with kind of like your publisher kind of
Well, So I was small press that I co-owned, but then after a few years, I could not keep up with being a publisher for multiple authors and writing my own books and promoting my own books, plus, everyone else's. So I ended up leaving the publishing company that I co-created and taking my books with me. And as of 2015, I've been totally independent. My partner at the time when I started, she liked his work and liked what we came up with. So we went forth, with that. And then, of course, I just stuck with it after I left and went solo. But I had done so much as a publisher when it came to distribution and learning all the, what it takes to be a publisher and the behind the scenes work, that transitioning into an independent was really easy. It was just me going forth alone without, having to do, a lot of the other stuff I was doing. Bookkeeping is still a pain in the rump when it comes to it, no matter what,
Oh, sorry. I was noticing, I go through your website, and you got the 2 Deadwood series. So the one series is solely written by you, and the second series is written with you and your husband.
Right.
Correct?
Yes, the Deadwood Undertaker series is a co-written series.
Now, in the Deadwood Underwood series, there's a 3.5. What's the 0.5?
Oh, that's Christmas. It's a 30 K Christmas novella. So it's not a full, it's kind of like just set it to the side. You can read it, but we didn't want it to be part of the main series because, for one thing, it's shorter. And for another, it's kind of just like a specialized, it has all the characters and all this, but it's more specialized for Christmas. So, and that's the same. I have a series called the Deadwood Short series, and there's 5 in that, and they're all novellas, and they have to do, as I said, with the main Deadwood mystery series, but they're like stories I want to tell you, but I don't want to take up the main book to take your time. It's, if you're enjoying it and you want to know the backstory to maybe a certain thing, each of these books have different things they cover and give you more backstory kind of fun on this, in addition to the main books.
Cool. And I also see that you have a Deadwood Mysteries reader notebook. Tell me a bit about the reader. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, it's not. It's what it is it's a short book. It's probably 30 pages, 40 pages. I don't know. This big. But anyway, what it is it's got a lot of my brother's art throughout the series in it, and then lines because in different sections, because a lot of readers, when you're writing. Like I said, I have 12 books in that series, plus 5 of the Deadwood shorts that tie in. So there's a lot of note-taking possibilities for those who like to keep track of everything, like this happened in book 8, because my books are not standalones. It really is a series. Now, while you can start at book 3 or 7, you're going to lose out on all that delicious backstory that started at book 1. So when you're reading that many books, you really kind of need to keep track of a lot of stuff. I do. As the writer, I definitely have to keep track of it all. So a lot of fans were like, I've got a notebook I keep, or I wish there was a notebook I could use. So we just, one year it was Christmas time, and we thought a fun thing I have an online store that, I actually send you autographed books via. So we thought, well, this will be fun. We'll do these Deadwood reader notebooks for people. And then we sold them at a real low price, just something for fun to get for Christmas for those who wanted to keep track of the series. So it's got lots of great art, and then it's got lines and, just stuff for note taking. So that's what that one is.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that idea. I might have to steal that idea. Just
go for it.
I won't put Deadwood on it.
No, it's, I have a world keeper, a lady I work with. She's wonderful. She was a fan that came up to me way back when, and I think I had 3 books out in the series plus a couple in another. And she said, hey, I've read your books and I love them. Did you know you changed such and so-and-so's eye color between book 2 and 3. And I went, oh, and she goes, you know, if you want, I can help you keep track of that. I love to do that kind of stuff. And I believe she was a teacher previously. And I said, I've been waiting for you to come along. I knew someone would send you my way someday. I've been asking, please send someone to help me. So anyway, she keeps really detailed notes of all the books, of all my books in different OneNote files. And it's stuff that you might keep in that Deadwood Reader Notebook, not just eye color, cars they drive, backstories they've talked about, you know, things that when they were kids. So when I go to write, you know, to make so that you don't go, hey, wait a second, this changed from book 7. I have to pay really close attention to her notes. I read through the whole series again. I go through a lot of work to keep these series something fun that you can read without pausing and going, hey, this is wrong. You changed this from 2 books ago. And I think that's important as a series author.
Yeah. No,
in one of my books, I actually resurrected one of my characters that I killed off 5 chapters earlier. And it's like, I was going through the editing process, and it's like, hang on, this person's dead.
You brought it. I thought you meant you did it on purpose, but you did it by
No,
accident. That's
just
funny.
like, hang on,
That's
they're dead. Yeah, it's like there's a lot to keep track of, and especially if you've got like a series, like you say, and especially with so many books as yourself.
Right.
I mean,
right.
it's very difficult to keep track of all those little details. I actually keep like whole world files where I keep track of, kind of like, I mean, I write science fiction, so I keep track of things like technology, characters,
Right.
you know, kind of like spaceships, you know, all of this kind of stuff. And it's like these things are way longer than the actual novels, you know, so.
Than the books. No, but that's so important to readers. I mean, at myself as a reader, when I read series, if I find something that's, you know, doesn't match up, unless the author purposely changed it and said, oh, hey, you know, they bought a new car or changed their hair color. Otherwise, I'm going to be stopped. And the last thing you want is your readers to stop mid-story and go, wait a second. You know, that you want them just to fall into the story and go through and enjoy it and not have to think about those, because it's already there. It's already, you know, everything's set in place and clean and just, you know, matches with the previous however many books.
Yeah, along that line, Hillary Stokes is saying, do you use beta readers at all? And so there's where your teacher comes in. And if so, can you talk a bit about how that process works for you?
Sure. I do use beta readers. I actually have, by the time one of my books hits the, you know, is actually released, it's at least been through about 60 pair of eyes.
Wow.
So what that includes is I have a first draft crew that has about 12 people included, and they're from different walks of life and they have different skills, and they actually read as I write chapter by chapter. So, you know, typically my books are about 130,000 words long and have around 25 to 26 chapters. I don't know why, but that's what my mind does every time. So, I will send, as I write a chapter, I'll go through a couple edits myself, and then I'll send it to first draft crew. They read it. They give me feedback. They find any errors at that point that they see, you know, spelling, the basic stuff. And included in that crew is the world keeper, that she reads them as well, because she's kind of a backup brain for me. And she helps me to, you know, hey, no, you can't do that, because back in book such and such, there's this, and she can even pull the line. And then in addition, because of all the wonderful readers that I meet and I talk to, there's another wonderful reader that has stepped up as she's my backup brain. And so if my story world keeper is busy traveling or something, I'll be like, oh, hey, you know, over here, can you help me? And she, boom, within no time, she's giving me what book, what chapter, here's the line. So that's really awesome. So that's just first draft. So then I'll get the book in total done. I'll put all those first draft edits in, and then I will turn around and ship it to my editor. And I have a professional editor, and she does an amazing job. She goes through it, gets back to me. I put those edits in, and then I pull in the beta crew. And for the novellas, I'll have around 20 to 25. And for the novels, I'll have 40 to 50 usually. And these are people that over the 10 years, 11 years of publishing, maybe they've emailed me privately and said, I love this story, but did you notice, I caught this one thing and they're nice about it and helpful. Or, hey, I'm an ace. I'm a realtor. Because my main character is a realtor, they'll say, I'm a realtor in my side job or in my main job. And I love your stories. I love paying attention, and I'll kind of, oh, okay, well, would you like to be on the beta crew this time and help me out? So over the years, I've come up with about 50 names, and those are the people I call on. And there's males and there's females, because I want to mix it up and have, people from all walks of life. They're from all over the US, some in Canada. So they go through it. They get back to me with their edits. I put those edits in. I send it back to my editor. She goes through it one more time. I put her edits in, and then me and usually the story world keeper go through it one more time. And then we put those final edits in. And at that point, the book is polished and ready to go out. And then it goes to my husband, who is Sam Lucky, who co-writes, but he also formats all our books. So he does all the work for formatting print and EPUB and gets everything ready and the back end ready, which is, the dashboards. Anyone who writes knows there's the back ends to all Amazon, Nook, and all those, Kobo. Puts it out, and then a book goes live finally. And then I crawl under the bed with chocolate or something and hide and wait for the reviews to start, right? And go, oh no, put something happy on TV, put on Frasier, or I don't know, Big Bang Theory, something that'll make me laugh and not think about this. So that's the process in a nutshell. So lots of beta readers. They're wonderful. They help me every time, and I send up thank you cards to everybody, and they get special gifts too, special little things that the beta crew only gets.
Yeah, and I would imagine the beta crew will also help put reviews on your.
They do. They're amazing that way.
Very nice to get you started. Yeah.
Yeah, they're because of the betas, and because of all the diehard, wonderful friends and fans that I've come across over the years, and we've gotten to know each other. I can put a book out, and usually I'm really fortunate that by the end of the first week, I will have over 100 reviews already out and ready going. So, but again, it's I write to everybody, and for some reason, you can tell me your name when we meet at a party and it goes right out in one ear and out the other. But if I meet you on Facebook and I talk to you a little bit and I learn, maybe your mom's been sick and you've been reading the books to her and she's enjoying them, or something about your dog or your cat. I see your name. I can remember things. I see your Facebook profile, a picture in my head. And then when I meet people, I can remember, and, hey, how's this going? I make a story, I think, in my head is what it is. But so it's really wonderful because I get to know readers that way, and they become, more than fans. They become friends too. So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey so far.
Obviously, you've put a lot of time into this. As you say, you've got a lot of books out and everything, and you've obviously done a lot of this, kind of like yourself, as well as like working with editors and publishers and so on. And so I was just wondering, what has been kind of like your most successful marketing tactic? How did you get your books out?
It's, over the years, there's been so many things. I guess I would say the most successful thing is between, building this wonderful beta team, and then also just all the other non-betas, the readers that establishing relationships, and making these bonds so that when a book goes out, I kind of feel like I know them. They kind of feel like they know me, because we chat on, different social media. You get to kind of get to know each other. It's a really wonderful team that I don't think of it as I'm a solo writer putting something out. I think of it as we're a tribe or a team, whatever you want to call it. And we go forth together. And one of the things I do in addition to beta is after the book goes live, then we take volunteers for the promo team, which is different. And the promo teams, like for the Deadwood series, which is my most popular, I'll get 150 to 200 people signing up to be on the promo team. For the other series, I'll get between 100 and 150 usually. So I get the promo team, and what we all do is we'll supply them with quotes, we'll supply them with graphics, we'll do all kinds of stuff, and they go forth and they talk about it. They put it on different social media stuff. They share it, tell family and friends. We do all this stuff for about 2 to 3 weeks. We have our promo team runs, and they're helping me sell. It's like a sales team. And when it's done, I'll have collected, usually over the months ahead of time. I go, whenever I'm out somewhere, if I see, let's say for the Deadwood stuff, I see something that plays in with the Deadwood, a gift that plays in with the Deadwood story. Like, I'll be your Huckleberry, from one of my characters, which is taken from, oh, come on, my brain just went, but it's Tombstone. There we go. The whole Doc, you know who I'm talking about. Sorry. But anyway, I'll find stuff like that, these really cool gifts, and then we'll have a drawing at the end. And I usually have about 70 to 80 gifts that I've purchased, sometimes smaller things, sometimes a couple of big things. And then we'll have a drawing of all these, names that are on the promo team, and we'll give away 70, plus prizes, and we'll mail them out. So it's not cheap. If I just sent a card, it would be a lot cheaper, but it's really fun. And the team gets the chance to win some really cool prizes that go along with the stories. And afterwards, I've already written thank you cards to all the beta crew by then, and they get a special gift. And then I write thank you cards to all the promo crew, and they each get a special gift. So I've recently determined that I've sent over 5,000 thank you cards so far, I believe. I don't have the exact number, but if I start doing the numbers, it's like, oh, wow, I've written a lot of thank you cards. But I mean it. I try to write one to each person, and I kind of know them and just thank them for their time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've always said that I'm like a race car driver. My car doesn't go anywhere without the team around me. So
yeah,
I got the fun part. I get to drive the car around the track, and everyone always looks at the race car driver, but it's the team in the pit that is really the ones that allow me to drive my car. So
exactly. Yeah. Where would we be without people reading? We'd just be crazy.
Sure.
We'd be crazy people telling wacky stories, and they think, oh, that her there. She lives out up in the mountains in Arizona. She's crazy, writes all these stories, believes in all these weird people that don't exist, right?
So you're working on the newest book in the Deadwood series, Never Say Never.
Actually, I actually put that one out late last year. I'm working on a Jackrabbit Junction series book.
Oh,
I might have to update my website. Is that what you're telling me? I need to go fix that maybe. But I put that one out. I think that was out in the summer of last year. And then I did a Christmas story for the Jackrabbit series. And now I'm writing the 6th book in the Jackrabbit Junction series at this time. I think maybe when I first contacted you guys way back when.
Yes,
it was
May. So it must have been quite a while ago. Yeah,
it was May. Yeah. So that was the book I was working on then. So.
Okay. Never Say Sever. Is that right?
Yeah. Never Say Sever in Deadwood. Yep.
And I read it, Never Say Never. My mind just there you go. That's why you don't edit your own stuff, because you'll read
right.
the way you think it's supposed to be read.
Yeah. With all the Deadwood series titles, I have fun with words. And that started way back with Nearly Departed in Deadwood. It was Dearly Departed, of course, but we changed it to Nearly. And then Optical Delusions, Dead Case, which was Head Case in Deadwood, became Dead Case in Deadwood. So yeah, I like to have fun with titles, and it's a little challenge on its own, just to come up with a fun, where you can cross up a letter or a word or whatever, and have fun with the titles that way.
So obviously, your writing takes up a lot of your time. You're very involved with it. You do a lot of things kind of like for your fans and people helping you and everything. So out of the, kind of like 5 minutes of spare time that you actually have for yourself, it's like, what do you like to do apart from writing? Do you have any hobbies and interests or anything?
I like to read, but as you guys probably know, when do you get time to just read books upon books anymore? When I love to read, it's just finding the time. And in addition, we also like to travel. Neither my husband or I like to go via plane. We're just not flyers. We can, but it's not like a fear. It's just we would prefer to drive. So we will take road trips, multiple road trips every year. And we're talking 2,000-mile ones, 4,000-mile ones. We go on big road trips. We drive up to Deadwood each year. It's about 20 hours of a drive. And every year I have an Ann Charles fan party. It's always been in the summer. This is the 10th annual, and it's going to be in October this year. And fans come in from all over for that. And that's, I mean, it's amazing. They'll come in from Florida. I've had, before COVID, Canadian fans come down, which is really fun. So we travel a ton. And in addition to writing, I take pictures. It comes from my previous marriage, where my ex was a photographer or wannabe photographer. So I was always helping with photography, and we split and I started taking pictures. Go figure. And so part of what I do is take a lot of photography, you know, a lot of pictures along the way as we travel, and I share them social media. And then every year I make a calendar with the pictures, and I let the fans pick from like 24 pictures. They vote on 12 favorite, you know, their favorites, and we get it down to 12. And then I make calendars, and everybody, or lots of folks, get the calendars. So photography is kind of a hobby, but I don't ever plan on making it a job, because I'm just nothing like the amazing photographers that are out there. I just like to share what I see along the way. So other than that, you guys, anyone who's an entrepreneur knows that you do this kind of 24/7. We like to joke, from Downton Abbey, there was a line, what is a weekend? You know, and that's kind of, we'll always say, what is a weekend anyway? You know, because you work all the time. And I was planning on reading some marketing books in January, just because that's some fun stuff for me too, is to learn different marketing techniques. And one of the main distributors in the South Dakota area was bought out and was shutting down all the books for the Western South Dakota area that they distributed, including mine. So now I'm working on becoming a distributor. So add another hat to the, you know, what I do, but getting them out so the bookstore or the stores can still have the books. So that's been a little bit of a shuffle and juggling to make that all happen and move print books that way. But I have 2 kids too, so I should qualify that a lot of spare time is spent with the kids. You know, we do stuff with them and try to keep their lives a little nonfiction, because so much fiction surrounds them. They know all the characters. They've read some of the books, so they know now who we're talking about. But that it's busy, but it's fun, and I really love this writing journey and the publishing journey and all that's come with it too. Meeting folks like you guys. I mean, it's fun to meet people too and see what they're doing, and different writers and how their lives are going.
Yeah, it certainly is a journey. So we keep talking about your Deadwood series. So what is it exactly about? So I'm visualing, when I hear Deadwood, I'm thinking cowboys and Indians and all that kind of stuff. And I'm probably way out to lunch here. So
the Deadwood series, okay, so there really, well, not everybody knows, but there really is a town called Deadwood, South Dakota. Now, a lot of people know Deadwood from HBO's Deadwood. Fortunately, my series was out right at the same time. So it was like, wow, this is great. This helps me let everybody know what Deadwood is. Although it's a little rough and tumble. So it's still an Old West town. It's one of those towns, and I know you guys have some of them up in Canada, that it's still got the Old West flavor, and they have a lot of historic buildings, and they'll play sometimes on the touristy stuff. But they have a lot of wonderful history from the gold mining days and all that they'll share. So my parents, my mom and stepfather, moved there when I was just a kid. And so I started traveling back and forth between Northwest Ohio, where my father was, and South Dakota, Western South Dakota. And I spent a lot of time learning about the history of this area, the mining history. I'd go down in old mines, because back then, because I am pretty old, back then you could still do that. They weren't all, insurance companies didn't care, and it wasn't blocked off. So I'd spend a lot of time in the air-conditioned museum in town, because if you're going to hang out in town when it gets hot, the air conditioned places where you want to go. And they would let me stay in there for hours and just read about everything. So I really learned about the history and spent a lot of time playing in the Black Hills of South Dakota, where this is all set. So years later, I'm trying to, I'm deciding I want to write books. And I'm thinking, they always say, write what you know. Well, I knew a lot about Deadwood. I knew the area, I knew the history. So I decided to write a contemporary story set in Deadwood, because there's a huge mine called the Home State Gold Mine. And for years, it was one of the biggest gold mines in the Western Hemisphere. I think it was the biggest, but then they shut it down. It was around 1990s, 2000s. And all of a sudden, where there was so much money in the towns, there was nothing. And they brought gambling into Deadwood. They brought it back, I should say. And that helped revive the area. So I really wanted to set a story with characters in this contemporary version of Deadwood and the sister city lead, where the gold mine was, and explore it and have fun. And I wanted her to be a realtor, because then she has 2 kids, so she would have time to be home with her kids and work around that. But then she could also be seeing all the old haunted houses, because so much of this area in real life, they will tell you, this is haunted, that building's haunted, this is haunted, because it was Deadwood really was a really rough and rowdy town way back when gold was there. Doesn't bring out the best in people a lot of times. So I set the series in a contemporary town of Deadwood, and it's actually the town. I use the street names. I use the public buildings like the libraries. Anything that's not privately owned, I'll use, so that it's anchors, kind of anchors the story for everybody. And it makes it fun for readers who go there, because you can see, oh, there's such and such building. There's the library. There's this, the county courthouse. Here's where all this happened. And you can take tours of some of the places, like the old opera house that I set one book in. And you can go through the opera house. And wonderfully, the opera house people have now set up an Anne Charles tour. So you can go right where the book went, and have fun with that too. So that's kind of, what brought Deadwood as the reason. I love the town. I wanted to share this wonderful place, this fun, beautiful place with the world. I wanted to let other people know about Deadwood, because at the time it was really struggling after the gold mine shut down. And if there was a way I could help bring in more tourists, bring people to town, I thought that would be really cool to do, to let other people, to help those that were struggling there, and to bring it back, bring it to the world, and let them see what a fun place this can be. So that's kind of all what went into, setting that story. So add, 9 years into, well, actually it was 8 years later after publishing the first one, my husband and I were watching an Old West show about undertakers, and realized, and I looked at him, I said, do you ever hear of any female undertakers in the Old West? And he goes, no, not really. We haven't really heard. I'm sure there were, but we hadn't really heard of any. So we decided to co-write a prequel to the Deadwood series. It's the same world, the same town, a lot of the same characters, because it is supernatural, and there's ghosts and there's other creatures. So we could go back to the gold rush days and have some of these characters there. Some that are ghosts, they're alive. Some that are supernatural, they're still there, same age, look the same. We could really play with it. And so the Undertaker series is really a fun prequel, and that does have the cowboy Western flavor. We're in that time. But the contemporary, even though I have purple boots on the cover, it's very contemporary, kind of, it's not the cowboys in the Old West kind of thing. So, wow, that was a long answer. Sorry, I went on and on.
No worries.
Big, long answer to that Deadwood thing.
No, this is definitely all about you. So that's really, I really love how you guys, when you co-write the books, it's actually the same settings and everything else, except many, many years before. That's brilliant.
Well, it's really fun for the fans. So there's, there's a ghost in the contemporary series. Her name is Prudence, and she is a mean ghost. But she's part of, the crew. She's kind of badass, even though she's still a ghost. What's really cool is you go back in time, and this was our opportunity to show you her, what she was like when she was alive, and how tough, and, she was a fighter. She was this, she was a killer, all the things she was when she was alive. And you get to see her. So for fans, it's really fun, you know, and this is going from what I hear from fans. They love getting to go back and see these people live, or see, you know, some of the supernatural characters back then and what they were doing, you know, and how they were creating the world that is now, that the main character deals with in the contemporary series. So it is really fun to write back and forth, but man, do we have to be careful. We have to really watch details. You know, we have to make sure plot lines, you know, nothing's messed up from past to present. But you know, it's my husband. So we talk, like I said, we talk about it all the time. And so we can really keep tabs on all these things to make sure we keep everything accurate, you know, storyline wise. Yeah.
So as a partnership, who has the final say?
Oh, it's both of us.
Yeah.
He writes first. Usually we think of it as building, because we would do a lot of remodeling of our own house together. We work together a lot like that. And he'll tend to be you know, we'll talk about it together and plan it together. He builds the bones, builds the structure, you know, puts the thing. And then I come in afterwards, and it's kind of like, you know, doing the design, dressing it up, doing this, doing that, you know, adding bits and stuff here and there. And then we go through it. We read it together after I've gone through it, and we read it together, and we do another edit together going, no, I don't like that. Yes, I like that. Let's do this. So by the time we put it out, it's not like, you know, some writers will write one side is there, one part's theirs, one part's another, and then they just mesh it. We're really blended. It's a blending of our voices together. So it's a little bit more, you know, time consuming in some ways, but in other ways it makes for a fun story because of what comes out.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like it'd be a bit more cohesive.
Yeah.
So if you're working with your husband on these things kind of like collaboratively, do you ever have any kind of like ding dong rounds or anything?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Somebody asked us once, what do you do when you don't agree about something? And we said, well, we argue about it, you know, just like anybody would. Whoever has the best, you know, the best argument of it for what the, you know, whatever we're discussing wins. You know, if it's, you know, maybe this, we can't because of this, or we should because of this, you know, that already happened, or that's happened in the contemporary, then you win. Whoever feels the strongest, I guess, about something, that's what we go with. But in the end, it's about making the best story that we can for the fans, for the readers to enjoy. And we know that going in. We're just trying to present it as best we can and give them some fun, you know, some historical fun to add to the mix. And I really love having supernatural as one of the elements in these two series, because it opens so much more, so that it doesn't get, and not that other authors do get repetitive, but it's not like, you know, another killer, another this, another that. Mm-hmm. You throw in some crazy creatures and people and whatever they are coming in, and it really makes for fun reactions, fun world, you know, building and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I actually have the Jackrabbit Junction series that I write, another series that I'm working on currently. Now that one doesn't have supernatural, but they're crossovers in that the heroine of the Deadwood series grew up next to the Morgan sisters who star in the Jackrabbit series. So they all know each other. And their cousin is best friends with the heroine of the Deadwood series and goes back and forth between series. So it's really fun to get to cross over like that. But then, you know, like the cousin who knows all this supernatural stuff doesn't tell her cousin, you know, the Morgan sisters about it. She's just like, I'm not going to go there, you know, so that I can keep the Morgan sisters, which takes place in Arizona, down in the Southeast in the desert. I can keep that more adventure and action and that kind of thing without digging into supernatural at this point. And it allows for a variety feeling, I think, for readers. So you get different flavors, you know, with some tie-ins, which is kind of fun. And then I have one of the other series I have is the Dixit mystery series, which is the brother of the heroine of the Deadwood series. And there is supernatural in that as well. So then and that takes place down in the Yucatan, the Mexican jungle, on Maya dig sites that I create my own Maya dig sites. I've studied and read so much about the Maya people that I love it. So I'll just build my own dig site, name all the temples, create all this history about the site, and then set them in it and have them, you know, doing different things in the sites, and then add some supernatural, which is kind of fun.
So is there an end in sight in the Deadwood series, or is it just going to keep going on as long as you want to write them?
As long as I can keep writing them and as long as the fans keep loving them, then we'll keep going. I do have a series arc that I'm following so that it doesn't feel just repetitive or anything.
Right.
It's important the characters keep growing and changing, I think, just like you would in real life. You know, at the start of the series, Violet Parker's just, there's a little girls are being kidnapped and disappearing. And so it's kind of starts out with just regular, not supernatural, but there's a ghost. And then with each book, that supernatural comes on stronger and stronger. And so you learn, you grow with Violet. You go from where she can't see any ghosts, she's a dud, she thinks, to finding out, wow, she's not a dud. This is what she really has a certain thing, certain ability, certain things she can do. And it was all part of, you know, the weaving of what was meant to be her coming to Deadwood and living with her aunt and, you know, so it just kind of, she grows. She has to learn to accept certain supernatural things and then she has to learn how to deal with them. And then she has to take a role in it. So it's kind of fun as she keeps changing and growing, you know, and the people around her too. It makes it for more fun to tell the story, for me at least. And hopefully that comes across to readers as well.
So what is the next thing on the books for you guys? Like when's the next release? What is the next release?
Well, we're in a race. We're neck and neck right now. Sam
Nice.
he's writing book 4 of the Undertaker series, and then I'll do my part after he gets the first draft written. But I'm writing book 6 of the Jackrabbit series, and so we're going to see how far each of us gets. We've had life happening over the last 6 months, in addition to COVID, and you know our parents are getting older, so things are going on that take more of our time, and so it pulls us away. But we both are trying to get a book out by summer. So we'll see if which book comes next. Undertaker 4, which is the backside of Hades, or Jackrabbit number 6, which I think is the, I think I've decided on the rambunctious tortoise tussle. So between the two, we'll find it. And then I'm going to write the 3rd book in that Dixit series down in Mexico, because it's been a few years and it's time to write another one of those. And then I'll go back and write Deadwood 13. So I'm booked out for this year and good ways into next yet to get these stories out. But you guys know how that goes.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, I've got, so every time I write a book, I get 2 more in my head.
Yeah, exactly.
So where can people find your books if they're looking for them?
So there's multiple places. I mean, I'm on Amazon, we're on Nook, we're on Kobo, all over the place, as well as audiobooks. We have them all over. And the print is online, mostly via Amazon, but you can also get them otherwise because they're wide distributor. But you can also get things, you can go to my website, www.anncharles.com, and there's no E after the N, it's just plain old ANNCharles.com. And I have the books, and I have info on each of them, and I have all the different places you can find the different style, you know, if you want an audiobook where you can get them. I have links to some of that there as well. So the best place to go is my website and look under the books tab, and then you can find out, you know, more information about it.
Awesome.
Great.
I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. It looks like we've run out of time already. That went by pretty quick. So I guess we can talk to you a lot longer about this stuff.
Well, my husband says, just get going. You can talk a long time. I've heard you talk quite a while. So.
Yeah, it's amazing how quick it does go by. So, and if we have you on again, maybe we'll have your husband on with you. And
oh yeah,
that'd be nice. Yeah, I never even thought. I wish we would have known. We could have brought him in as well. But
that's okay.
So thank you again for joining us, and we'll make sure that we share this around. We'll get on YouTube and get over to my Facebook channel as well. So right now it's streaming through David. So, and speaking about Dave, what's new with the David Kelly universe?
This week's been a busy one. I've been working on the 3rd Logan Two Feathers book. The 2nd Logan Two Feathers book has just literally today finished in the hands of my first editor. So now that's come back to me covered in red ink.
Yes.
And so I've been working on that, but I also started writing the 2nd of my Hyperion Jones books, and I also started yet another novel, which will be coming kind of after all of that's done. So it's actually been a really busy week. It's like it's only Tuesday, and I've already kind of like hit my weekly kind of like word targets. You know,
that's awesome.
It's all on different things, which is kind of like a little bit unusual. You know, it's kind of like it hasn't been all one thing. So it's good. It's busy. It's fun. But there you go. That's mine. So what about yourself? Which is what?
I'm still writing. I'm still writing book 3 in the High Cliff Guardian series. So I'm getting close to 70,000 words in book 3, Windwalker, and so it's just the same old, write and edit, write and edit. I always edit what I write the day before. So, but a neat thing happened to me on the weekend. I was selling books at a market, and when I got home, I had an email that came through my website. I don't get a lot of emails that come through my website, and someone had reached out and said, "Thank you very much." They read the Lorena book, and they said, "Thank you for giving me back my love of reading." I guess they hadn't been reading for many, many years. For some reason, they saw Lorena, decided to buy it, and now they're right into reading again. So that was kind of a nice feel good moment of the week. So, and those are the things that really fuel an author's desire to write some more, because there are a lot of times that you're in that dark spot and you think, why am I doing this? People really like my stuff, and that just reaffirms that everything we're doing is worthwhile. But that's awesome. That's all that's going on with me right now. So next week, we're thrilled to have join us urban fantasy and supernatural thriller author. There's another supernatural author, J.P. McLean. J.P. writes urban fantasy and supernatural thrillers that readers describe as addictive, smart, and fun. Her writing has received honorable mentions from the Whistler Independent Book Awards and the Victoria Writers Society. And Dave and I look forward to speaking with you, JP, next week. So for David and myself, and for Anne, thanks for joining us again. Until we meet again, take good care, everybody. Good night.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.